Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to the facilitation of the NC Front Media Briefing using the Bridging the Gap platform. Has been provided today, Monday, 10 August 2020. It's a pleasure to have the speakers and the program of the NC Front. May I call on, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to the facilitation of the NC. May I call on Architect or Ezekiel Eto, please, to make the first contribution of the prayer. Thank you.
Shall we all be in the prayer mood? O God of creation, direct our noble cause. Guide our leaders right, help our youths the truth to know. In love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Amen.
Amen. May I go straight to, I'm yet to see him, but I'll probably go straight to Right Honorable Gali Naaba, who is joining for the Federal Republic of Nigeria's capital, Abuja.
Yes. All right.
I guess while we're waiting for that, I'll probably call on Dr. Umar Eliazo to make his kind message.
Can you hear me now?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, let me thank the organizers for inviting me to be part of this discussion. Thank you very much. We have a saying in my part of Nigeria that it is not good for old men to be around in the village square and allow a goat that is tethered to a stump to deliver its kid while still tethered. In other words, this is a time when old people like me and many others that I know should get up and do something or say something, because I think the direction we are going in Nigeria is not the right one. I have lived with this problem since my 80th birthday to now that I'm 90. The last 10 years, it has bothered me. And as we discuss, I have some thoughts about how we should go about restructuring this country. And I think this is the time to do it. We can give ourselves something like between now and the beginning of 2022 so that we can see our way through, because what I'm seeing, if you take example of what is happening in all these by-elections in Edo State and all that, it gives a foretaste of what will happen if we have a general election. So we better sort ourselves out first between now and 2023. Let me stop there so far and see what others will, or hear what others will say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure to wish you a wonderful 98 and more glorious years for you. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you. I have more to say.
Do we have Professor Anya in? Let me just quickly go back to the NCF Secretariat, where I believe we have the Honorable Nava there. Can the Secretariat please unmute for Right Honorable Gali Nava to speak? Secretariat, please unmute. Secretary to mute the Right Honorable so that he can speak. Let me quickly call on Dr. Tanko Yunusa.
Is Tanko Yunusa there? Is he in already?
They have been in for a long time.
I can't find him here.
Okay, well, let me just call on Olawale Okuni to say something.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, please, Mr. Okuni, go ahead.
Yes, you are the one you have the program with you. I think you have the program with you. Can we follow the program, please?
Can the Secretary please unmute Professor Pat or Honorable Wright? No.
They didn't enter with their names.
Secretary, you're live.
Yes, we are. Good afternoon. Nothing. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Secretary, we're ready for you.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. First of all, let us apologize for the challenges that we have. It was not intentional in the first place. We have Barry Umanaba state in Abuja, and we have Komidodo and Amor state in Kaduna. And then we have our other comrades in the southeast, all seated. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to one of the epic situations that will happen in this country for the first time, one of the history of this country. For a very long time, the country has been under some kind of siege, and that is the reason why the National Consultative Fund has come up with credible individuals who are ready to challenge the status quo so that we can be on the right pedestal. I'm glad to introduce to you a large number of credible Nigerians who are already on this. Comrade Professor from Lagos.
No, that's not.
Prof, over to you, please.
Madam Tanko, hello? Can we have introduction of the media people in the house so that we know those who are in with us?
Okay, at the moment now, we have TVC.
Can we have them introduce themselves?
We have channels television.
Those who are
the computer is not with them, so they cannot.
Those who are connected.
Okay, probably okay, those who are connected can introduce themselves. But here at the moment, we have channels television, we have TVC, we have Captain TV, we have Radio France, and Mohammed Weiss from Radio Germans. So those are the ones on ground at the moment.
So can the MC help us with introduction of those who are connected so that we know those that we are talking to, please? Mr. Moderator, please.
I guess Dr. Tanko has already done that. We already passed those stage long time ago. Dr. Tanko.
No, we know those who want to know those who are linked to the Zoom. Okay. They should introduce by the program. There should be introduction. Can we follow the program, please?
Yes, Comrade Wali, Digi, you can continue.
Can we follow the program? You are anchoring. Yes, Professor Tommy is in the house. Okay.
Maybe two of you can come and sit with just a little social distancing, but at least on this side so that we can be covered.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, can we have introductions of media men linked with this Zoom so that we can know those we are talking with? Can we have introductions from the media that are present?
Sorry, Alistair.
Hi, Prof.
Yeah, please note that there are some people here at the Lagos end, including media, just to say Radio Nigeria is here, for example.
Okay.
So, can we have a roll call? Do we have Punch in the house? Hello? Which newsprint media is in the house? Okay. Dr. Tanko.
Yes.
Do we have channels with you or in Lagos?
Channels is in Abuja.
I've introduced all the media to you. I said channels, TVC, Captain TV, Radio France, Germany. At the moment, others are joining.
Can we start before they join? AIT is still on the way.
No, we can't. We can't. We should start immediately, please.
Okay.
Okay. Alistair, Dr. Tanko, sir, if you're ready, we can start following the program.
Okay.
Prof, I've already introduced you long time ago. Please start.
No,
okay, do I then go ahead?
The program.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. We have already done most of the introduction. We've taken the prayer. One of our elders, Dr. Umar, has already spoken. And now basically we'll go to the co-chairman of the NC Front, starting with Professor Pat Otomi. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, MC. It is a great honor and true privilege for me to welcome all of you to this epoch-making press briefing. Allow me to introduce to this public briefing the NCF initiative for mass mobilization of citizens in the goal of rescuing the Nigerian ship of state from foreboding sinking of the nature of the Titanic. After me, my co-chair and colleague in this journey, the Right Honorable Umar Galina Abba, will provide the purpose and the mission of this movement. And then we will take interventions from some of the elders. You have already heard from one of the elders, Dr. Umar Elazu, who was the first person to lead a think tank for government in this country. And several other members of this movement and youth leaders in the movement before a session of questions and answers. So on behalf of this broad coalition of people of conscience from the professions, from civil society, faith leaders, and politicians across partisan lines who are not tainted, I must dare say, I'm honored, along with my colleagues, to welcome you to this World Press Briefing on the determined effort of these Nigerians, the National Consultative Front, to take action, mobilize the people, and insist on a peaceful path to progress in the face of deteriorating conditions in our national lives. A doctrine of necessity is clearly now needed to reverse the slide. This doctrine of necessity is about reforming the system and the apparatus of government before ongoing trends result in a complete loss of legitimacy for our democracy. Sadly, for our history, I've been here before. I've been here several times before. I was here when, as a 19-year-old student leader, Nigeria went through 2 coups, resulting in the end of the Gowon era and the killing of General Murtala Mohammed. And we had to get on the streets to protest the state of the nation. I was there again in 1993 when the election of Chief MKO Abiola was annulled by a handful of officers. I was on the streets, even though I was a dozen years past the age of street protests at that time. I'm glad that I then helped to call out professionals who were concerned for their country. The concerned professionals helped end military rule. Again in 2009, when the presidency was taken hostage by a cabal and a very gravely ill President Yar'Adua battled for his life, I was there. We called our citizens to a Save Nigeria movement, and we saw a doctrine of necessity pull us through. In recent weeks, as many of us watched corrupt reality shows from the National Assembly, looming constitutional crisis between the executive and legislative arms of government, terror on the streets and rural backyards, insurgency, banditry, mixed with harrowing kidnapping cases, we have come to a realization that the imperative of now is that of awakening Nigerians to the urgency of saving Nigeria. We face an existential crisis today. Ordinarily, in a democracy, when things are going wrong, you wait for the next election to vote out those not performing. But the absence of internal democracy in our leading parties and the phenomenon of state capture suggests that the hope of change from the ballot box in the prevailing political culture is an exercise in futility. We have therefore committed ourselves to a movement to reorient the country, reform the economy, and transform the polity, beginning with a review of the Constitution and electoral laws. With such reforms, elections as a way of getting rid of those not performing can then be contemplated. This is why we are a movement and not one more political party. Fortunately, we have several parties and party leaders in this movement. The Right Honorable Galina Abba, my fellow compatriot and co-chair ad interim as we are, for this movement and network of citizens, civil society organizations, and political persons participating in non-partisan ways have articulated a clear vision of Nigeria and our mission to drive our country to that destination within certain values. And we'll present, that's right, Honorable Naaba will present the NCF modus operandi immediately after these my own remarks, because it is one continuum of presentation of who we are, why we are here. But let me add that our commitment is to building of an inclusive society in which justice supplants impunity and regard for the dignity of the human person is our organizing mantra. This should ensure that women, minorities, and people of special needs get their due place in society, and that, as our original national anthem proclaims, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Why does our country lie prostrate today? I pointed to the widespread violence, insurgency, banditry, and crime that is pointing us on the road to Somalia. The crisis in our educational system and the economic troubles that keep our well-being in perpetual recursive mode. Let me speak briefly to 2 or 3 of these before the Right Honorable Gali Naaba takes over from Abuja. On violence. Everyone knows that without peace, progress is a pipe dream. Yet we continue to mismanage the violence that is now Nigeria writ large. My first point about violence engulfing us today is that it is so without purpose. We seem to be also so vulnerable to nihilists. As a young secondary school pupil, I lived in Ibadan during the Agbekoya uprising in the late 1960s. You could see the purpose of that revolt. It is clear to me, from what I can observe, that military force only by itself is a small part of the solution to the violence crippling the north of our country. Poverty and policy failure regarding education and economic growth are critical to reversing the situation. But we do not see effective deployment of soft power in dealing with the issues. As a movement, we will question the strategy of the authorities and offer alternative paths. As a child, I spent some time growing up in Maiduguri and started school in Kano in the year of our independence in 1960, but spent most of my primary school days in Guzo in today's troubled Zamfara state. I can see the errors of strategy so clearly, and that the failure of our political party system in generating appropriate quality leadership for our country at every level is self-evident from our inability to deal with these issues. We must reverse the course now. Given such a high price from the system failure that we are dealing with, my friends, in the NCF, will return to previous tactics of struggle to save Nigeria, to awaken citizenship and a previously complicit middle, the detached, uninvolved Nigerians who make up the majority. If democracy is a government of the people, for the people, by the people, then the voice of the people must be made to sound loud and clear that this is not how they want to be governed. Now, Stephen R. Covey, in his book, The 8th Habit, proclaims that the most important habit of the 21st century is to help people find their voice. The NCF aims to help Nigerians find their voice, and getting the passive majority to become the moral majority, which reorients Nigeria and gets governing back on track, is what we are committing ourselves to. The cost of governing our country and constitutional reform, the need for these. By now, even the blind can see that the cost of governing Nigeria is much more than Nigeria can bear. The way forward should include constitutional reforms. As many of those should make this possible as beneficiaries of the currently unsustainable order. As Machiavelli said 500 years ago, we'll do everything to prevent a new order from coming about. We must therefore turn to the people to say that we have had enough of the current order, even if it means that the people have to get on the streets to say enough is enough. We want to urge the National Assembly to get better and get ready to make the laws that will set our country on a different path. If they choose not to, either because they think they are part of the people who benefit from that old order, the citizens may have to turn to the Orange Revolution type of street taking back of their country. And so we're hoping that reason will prevail and we can reform and get our country going again. On the spirit of this movement, I want to urge all concerned Nigerians to please come with us because the moment is now. Just to close out, what is the strategy that we think will help us bring about the reforms and the changes that will transform our country and get us out of this present situation? The key goal of many leaders of conscience who have come together to drive this movement, almost in the same spirit as the 8-point agenda that the founders of NEPU enunciated 70 years ago this weekend in Kano, is the emancipation of the masses of our people. We aim, therefore, to see a regeneration of Nigeria into an era of citizen politicians dedicated to a production economy and the pursuit of the escape from existent misery. Not that of godfathers who loot the commonwealth, as we see every day in our current experience. Our plan is to build a partnership in bond between the artisan class that NEPU effectively mobilized in Kano, a new rural farmer class, an emergent youth mass entrepreneurship class, and the middle class in forging a new people's capitalism with value chains based on our factor endowments that harvest the opportunity for us to become globally competitive and regain our respect in the world. The new latent comparative advantage around which the thrust of growth and development is envisaged will serve us well. We hope that the movement will also initiate a moral rearmament program in which character will be key to citizenship and public virtue and morality define participation in politics and public life in general. Our hope is that, on September 15, the day the United Nations resolved in 2007 to set aside for reflection to strengthen and consolidate democracy, that day will be a day for nationwide events of light in darkness to draw attention to threats to democracy, not only in Nigeria, where fascism is on the ascendance, but across our region, where several old presidents who should be retiring to life of wise counsel from their country homes are now doctoring constitutions they helped make to stay further in power. The example of Alassane Ouattara seeking another term in Côte d'Ivoire is sad and dispiriting, just as Guinea's Alpha Condé. Some of us are convinced that Nigeria should lead ECOWAS to dissuade such leaders from that path. Details of our plan of action on the state of democracy in Nigeria and West Africa, and how we plan to mobilize the youth of the sub-region from allowing ailing, aging men to damage the future of the youth, instead of giving way to people of knowledge and passion to fashion a path forward for our region to harvest a demographic dividend from our youth, this youth board, instead of allowing idle youth to become the source of new refugee camps and IDPs. Our purpose as a movement is to serve the cause of truth and progress for all the people. As people of conscience, we recognize, as Sheikh Uthman Danfodio said, that conscience is an open wound and only truth can heal it. As you see it right now, Our country is unraveling. Only truth can save it. Our action plan in NCF is a pursuit of truth denied. We expect all persons of conscience to join us. And so, as I invite the Right Honorable Gali Umana Abba to present who we are, I want to say that anybody of conscience, anybody who is truly a patriot in this country should go straight to our website and register. We expect at least 70 million Nigerians to be registered members of this movement before this year is out. And we together will take back our country. We need to do that. It's an imperative of our existence. We owe it to our children. We owe it to the future of this country. Honorable Gali Naaba, please continue from Abuja.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Over the past 2 decades of our new democratic experience, we have had to watch our dear country, dismay, disappointment, and utter shock slide into anarchy, collapse, ruin, and rot. The promise that democracy will help for us is conducive to realize the country left to drift. Hardly can any sector of the country be working as government seems effectual, irresponsive, and incompetent. Unemployment, particularly among our youths, has reached and passed unprecedented levels, while unnecessary loss of human lives due to insecurity has become a recurring decimal, with scores of Nigerians being killed on a daily basis. Our indebtedness, both internal and external, has reached alarming proportions, with the attendant virtual collapse of social and physical infrastructure, leading to pervasive and grinding poverty. The way and manner governance is conducted suggests a high degree of irresponsibility at all levels. The general feeling across the land today is that of delusion, hopelessness, and helplessness. The agony and anguish of Nigerians about the deplorable state of our nation is palpable and worrisome. The feeling also on the part of many Nigerians is that the days ahead we are facing an existential problem. Unfortunately, our overbloated political structure and warped governance system have not been able to rise up to the challenge at all, thereby leaving the Nigerian people distraught, distressed, and despondent. Clearly, this state of affairs in our country is unacceptable and unsustainable. About those who in our country, we as citizens where citizens will be able to meet their basic needs and attain their human potential and fulfillment. To this end, we as Nigerians Christians have resolved to take urgent action and end our unfortunate narratives by coming together under the umbrella of National Consultative Front to collectively pursue the onerous task of
rescuing and saving our country from this ominous slope into total collapse. This is intended to be achieved through massive nationwide consultations and mobilization with a view to taking back our common patrimony and place it in the hands of a new generation of selfless, disciplined, and competent political leaders of conscience in Nigeria. For the avoidance of doubt, our only interest lies in creating an inclusive democratic governance, which is a sine qua non towards the provision of a decent living condition for the people and also the facilitation of prosperity for every Nigerian citizen. It is our desire to rescue our fellow citizens from the viper-like grip of poverty, welcome jobs for our teaming and masses, of whom are roaming the streets of our country rebelliously and hopelessly as we speak. Therefore, every leader and promoter of credibility who is resolved to give full and total commitment and loyalty to the National Consultative Front agenda to rid Nigeria from the present socio-political power characterized by corruption, exploitation, impunity, and maintenance. Such people must be patriotic, altruistic, and committed, and must be seen to be not among Nigerians that played diabolical roles in the political currents of our country, particularly with regards to the derailing of this democracy. Such Nigerians must also be politically conscious and out to rescue the flounder of our dear country in solidarity with other like-minded Nigerians in the National Consultative Front. Furthermore, our members and stakeholders are therefore expected to be detribalized, non-discriminatory, change champions, and ideologues with positive values, compelled and ambushed by growing political corruption and unprecedented homelessness in Nigeria, to join forces with other like-minded people of conscience in facilitating an all-inclusive governance paradigm and system. National Consultative Front, ravaged and battered by existing currents in the country, is agitated by the ones state capture by a few self-serving who today constitute the ruling power in Nigeria and operating without any clue or worry about the current drift of the state into general anarchy and turmoil. Kanda compels us to declare that our country has become a failed state where insurgency, banditry, and kidnapping, as well as pervasive poverty, are the new normal. With this historical end, we have resolved and elected to undertake massive nationwide consultations and mobilization with a view to building a formidable political platform in the form of a mass movement. In this endeavor, it is our wish to engage with like-minded groups in order to form a very large, strong, and capable force that can challenge the current political parties now in power in the states and the center. In line with this objective, our mission, vision, and strategy are as follows. Our mission includes, and not limited to, the promotion and nurturing of a real democratic political system and people's-centered government that will provide equitable, just, and inclusive governance for the well-being of all Nigerians. In this regard, it is the intention of this front to stick religiously to the principle of internal democracy, which absence in the major political parties is responsible for over 80% of the mess we have been thrown prosperity, security to Nigerians. Establish in the creation of an inclusive democratic political platform to groom and provide opportunities for all Nigerians to for elections and believe that it is to particularly put emphasis because more than any other groups, vulnerable and manipulated. Number three, to consult with all sections of the country with a view to giving Nigerians a constitution that may work for our country to the benefit of all Nigerians. The consultations will include fundamental issues like referendum, self-determination, principles of proportional representation of the people, government, etc. The current constitution cannot be said to be working in favor of Nigerians. To mobilize for the economic well-being and prosperity of all Nigerians by ensuring that Chapter 2 of the present constitution, i.e. fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, becomes justiciable once and for all. In the light of our historic mission to enthrone a new Nigeria, we welcome all Nigerians of good conscience at home and in the diaspora, female, male, young, and old, including persons living with disabilities, to join this historic endeavor to save, rescue, and create a new Nigeria full of equity, justice, prosperity, for all. Consequently, every member and ally of this front as a strategic necessity to facilitate a cycle of concern of 12 citizens of conscience based on a membership registration code to be provided by National Consultative Front Secretariats. We must all know at all times that victory in this new national rescue and salvation journey can only be certain in our solidarity, unity. Thank you.
We will now go to Kaduna Center. Hello, Alison.
Yes, I guess we're ready.
Hello, hello, Alison.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, can we go to Kaduna Center now with Biodo Aremu? Aremu.
Mr. Aremu, can you please unmute?
Okay. So, are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I think for the record, I should have known that Dr. Yusuf Tanko knows my name very well. My name is Issa Aremu, not Abiodun Aremu. And I brought to you fraternal greetings I've brought to you fraternal greetings from our elder statesman, our father, our grandfather, one of the leading African compatriots still standing, the first democratically elected governor of Kaduna State. He will have been with us, but for the clash of the new date that he already had another prior engagement, but he has asked me to express our solidarity in Kaduna for this patriotic call. And he has said that this is the right time, that we need more consultation in this country. And I think Dr. Galinaba, as well as Professor Tam Utomi, put it very well. This country needs more consultation in place of addictive conflict. We need more dialogue instead of dictatorship. There's no way we can have development when we're having serial killings of our citizens. We have lost more citizens to avoidable communal clashes, banditry, insurgency, than possibly Brazil has lost to COVID-19. And these are conflicts that are avoidable if we have a leader, we have leadership that is focused, that is inclusive in orientation, and operates within the context of the 1999 Constitution with all its limitations. So we want to reaffirm our commitment to this great movement, and it's an idea that has come at the right time. I think the real first test, I had discussion with him along this line, that we show our capacity to consult, to make a difference. The real test of that is what is happening in Edo State now. Election is coming up September 19, and you can see the two divides, the walls of attrition in our hand. It's unbelievable now that we have two speakers in a state. You also look at the distortion of the political process. The candidate of PDP used to be the candidate of APC. APC used to be the candidate of PDP. And you'd be wondering, how does the electoral feature in the distortion of political expectations? But the one that is even more worrisome is the threat to lives, as a result of elections. I think we need to add our voice to make sure that INEC stand its ground, to make sure that the elections are free and fair. Not only that, the security agencies must be seen to really act for Nigeria. We have Nigeria police force, not any party police force. And the IG and all its agents must be able to live up to their expectation. The same thing with the army, with the police. This will be a practical way to test our capacity to consult and make a difference. And the last point I thought I should also share is that we are in a period of pandemic, and you can see that immediately we had this outbreak, we had the lockdown in March. The federal government came out with stimulus plan, which was meant to socialize the pain for all Nigerians, both the big enterprises, medium and small enterprises. But immediately we seem to have some control over this pandemic now. We're already privatizing the pains of this crisis. As somebody coming from the labor movement, I'm quite shocked that under the condition of pandemic, federal government can be talking of increase in price of petroleum product to around 50 naira. At the time, lockdown has led to massive job losses, collapse of income. I'm not sure how Nigeria can recover from this multiple crises. So I think we should consult at political level, but above all, too, we must be able to do proper consultation at level of policy and economic direction for our country so that we get out of this quagmire. I was impressed with the first tape you played about how Nigeria has come of age. And you could see that even with colonialism, our founding fathers, many of them did not fold their hands. You know, we saw traditional rulers who stood up from Jaja of Opobo, we have Oba of Benin, we have the Sultan Atairu in Kano, and in that order, they all stood up to challenge colonial rule. And Nigeria will be 60 this year, but we must ask, what has happened to this struggle? How far have we moved? And I think this is why this consultative forum in our discussion in Kaduna is said to be very timely. So once again, I bring to you fraternal greetings from Kaduna. I think they're hearing me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Comrade Issa Remo.
Thank you.
Dr. Tanko.
What to move?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Alistair. Yes, can we kindly move to the southeastern state of this country where we have some of our comrades ready to speak to us?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Can we follow the list?
Okay, do we have Alhaji Shatima Rima? Alhaji Rima, you're on.
Good afternoon.
Alhaji Rima, you're on.
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, leaders. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Distinguished leaders and my colleagues, I once again want to say thank you. And though I came very late, I was supposed to be on my way to Abuja, but my intention was to come forward when I arrive at Abuja to also partake in the press conference that was just held by the able chairman, our co-chairman, the Right Honorable Omar Galinaba. But though I will see him personally on reaching Abuja, maybe most likely this evening or tomorrow. Indeed, the consultative front is timing that the unity of this country is being threatened. And I think this is the best platform we can use to unite ourselves to build a country of our dreams. So you can count on my support and my groups and also our friends that we are talking with to ensure that we bring them in to do the right thing and at the right time. I thought Aremu would have communicated to me, but I didn't know there was anything like this until yesterday night when my attention was drawn to it by Wale Ukuni. But however, I will still, after this, my conversation with you, I will still go back to speak with Aremu privately, maybe if there's anything we can do from the Kaduna axis here. So for me, I thank you once again for taking your time, for doing all of this, coordinating us, putting us together for the well-being of the country. So you can count on our support, and we are already determined to ensure that we do it right for the best interest of this country. So I thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Yerimi Shatima from the northern part of the country of Nigeria. If we have in the house, Mr. Jude Ferrami, please. In the absence of Jude Ferrami, Dr. Tanko.
All right,
please.
This is Jude Ferrami here speaking from the NCF Secretariat in Abuja.
Thank you.
All right. First of all, I would like to state again, like I started, that the timing of National Consultative Front for the future of our country is very, very, very important and instructive. Many of the speakers who have spoken before me, some older, some way much older, the common ground that we have all shared here is that there is a need to take action because of the future of our country and the impending doom or crisis if the current trends continue. For young people, for younger people, this is even much more important because the stake that we have in the future as young people and youths of this country is even a higher stake. And that's why, to a very, very large extent, I believe that every young person who is a citizen of Nigeria and who sees the current happenings in the country and who cares about the future, their own future and the future of their own children, would find that the message and the gospel of National Consultative Front is a very, very important one that we will subscribe to. I want to say categorically here that since the National Consultative Front has started, and I've engaged with veteran Wale Okuni on different fronts, on different initiatives, and to say that we will mobilize the young people of this country to be a part of National Consultative Front, not just for young people who now find expression in religious organizations as young leaders, but also for young people who are participating in the advocacy space and the civil society space, and also for young people who find their expression for leadership or for their yearnings for community development in different associations and different student unions. The time has come to coalesce all these youth groups together to also join hands and minds with the organizers and the mobilizers and those who have gone before us because of the common ground that we have, which is to find a path towards development, towards prosperity, and ensure that our country is no longer the poverty capital of the world. And when I say this, the majority of people don't find that fact as instructive. But today, there is no other country in the world that has more poor people than Nigeria does. And I think when we put it that way, it begins to make a lot of sense, and we begin to ask the kind of questions that we should be asking. Why is it that Nigeria with 200 million people has more poor people than even some of the countries with 10 times our size? And some of the countries that don't even have the amount of potential natural resources that we have, or some of the countries that don't even have the kind of bright Nigerians that we have in our country. This is very, very instructive. And I will just, I think I will just stop here and state again our commitment, my commitment the commitment of all the young people that have been speaking with in different organizations and associations, that we will bring our numbers and we will share the message and the gospel of National Consultative Front so that we can find, like I said before, a path to the development and prosperity of this nation and ensure that our future as a country and as a demography is very, very secure. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much for your contribution and your views and presentation. Dr. Tanko.
Hello? Can we take Architect Ezekiel? Yeah, talk.
Thank you very much for this privilege. I'm very happy to be here. And I have to be in Lagos to give chairman that South-South support. I want to take just 1 minute so others can talk. We are all aware of the problems of this nation. Now, what is exciting is that we have gone through the stage of hear something, see something, say something. We are on the final stage of do something. And I'm very, very happy with the leadership, very happy with the whole what we are doing. And I want to assure us all that in a year from today, we will be able to see ourselves as light bearers, as the people that God has used to take back our nation. Nigeria is a great country. Nigeria has the potential to be a world beater and a world leader. Nigerians have excelled in every field of endeavor globally. The land that we live in is one of the best. It's endowed with all natural resources. And when you have a combination of natural resources and human resources, the only way that can keep us back is when we have the blind and the partially impaired leading those of us that have clear sight. And that time has come. I want to thank us all and encourage us all. The countdown has begun and there's no reversing. Thank you for this privilege, and let the music start.
Professor Sonia, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I have listened to all that has been said, and I would like to say that my hope is that in everything, and even in the details, that we will be different from the people whom we are criticizing, the people who have led us here. Let us be mindful that we are seeking to create something totally different. We are seeking to establish a new order of things, of public life, of public accountability. And we must be mindful of the details as well. I am, for instance, concerned that we also ensure that when we advertise programs, please let us seek to start on time. Something as simple as that. You know, the former leaders, they love being waited for. You know, it is part of the culture that we are seeking to overthrow. So we must not communicate that in our in our activities or in our behavior. Please let us be mindful that in the details, we project ourselves as a completely new breed that wishes to set itself up as an example of how the public affairs of a nation should be run. So thank you very much for this opportunity. We look forward to all of us working together to build this new nation that we are all aspiring towards, and to inspire by our words and our personal example, to inspire many Nigerians to come along on this journey with us. Thank you. God bless everyone. And God bless Nigeria.
Do we have ACG Wakili? ACG Wakili.
You have to hold on for him a little bit. If we have Senator Grace Brent, if she's available, please, she can address us, please.
Well, I think Mr. Oshinowo is in, so that we don't waste time, we have to wrap up.
Go ahead.
Mr. Oshinowo is here.
Next, we can have Professor Mr. Oshinowo, please.
Okay. Well, let me just first of all thank the initiator of this platform. I want to commend them for their sense of patriotism. We are all in a ship that is headed for the rock. And that's just the best way to describe the current state of Nigeria today. We're all in a ship heading for the rock. And if we don't do anything to salvage that ship, we will all be thrown into the ocean. And I very much doubt if any one of us has been adept in the skill of swimming in the ocean to survive. We will all perish. So this is all about survival. For a very long time, I have been apolitical and one of those who have stood on the fence to criticize what is going on in this country. I've been an armchair critic. I've been very active on many WhatsApp platforms. But time has come for all of us to come out of our haven to play a role in the rescue of Nigeria. One basic lesson I've learned over the 36 years of my working experience before I retired is the fact that we may get everything right about this country. We may be practicing what we consider to be the most noble profession in this country. But if we don't get our politics right, everything will fall apart. So time has come for us to come together to make sure that we get our politics right. And I'm appealing to professionals like me that are staying in their comfort zone.
Have we lost him? Hello?
Hello,
all the best, and I'm surely going to be very active in this platform.
Thank you.
Do you have?
Is ACG here?
Yes, he's here. ACG, please. Hold on for him. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm ACG Wakili, retired. I'm not tired, but not tired. This forum, National Consultative Forum, is a forum of gentlemen and ladies
citizens of Nigeria who love their country, that is to say, who are patriots. You can't just be passive when the country you love is moving to a place, a country that has, whereby the people, the citizens of the country are really not happy with the way the country is being run. That is to be honest. If you stand on the fence, it means that you accept what is going on as good or as something that is being accepted by the people. No, all is wrong with the country. We can't remain the way we are. We need a change. The change may not be of benefit to us right now, but for our children, grandchildren, and the posterity. I'm really, as a person, is satisfied with the way the country is being run. There is need for change. And the only alternative for this country is the national consultative program. Whoever loves his country should give his or her support to this forum, because this forum is an alternative government, it's the only alternative government. You're welcome to the forum. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hello?
Hello?
Mobulure.
Okay.
Mr. Olutola Mobulure. Can we have him for 2 minutes?
Well, I've been invited to this forum by a few people. I don't know enough, so I've just come to learn. But I think I would like to associate myself with the comments of Professor Shonaya. I mean, I also belong to a group that is in formation right now. But I think we want to be different because the country needs a different direction. But we believe that, you know, as much as the polity needs, you know, restructuring, we also believe that we need a society that is knowledge-based, value-driven, and because it is not rocket science to know that our values are debased, and it does not stop only with the leaders. The whole society is becoming really unsustainable. While leaders must provide examples to which people aspire, which has been absent, I think it is important that any group claiming to try to redeem Nigeria must be totally different from what the current groups look like. And I do hope that it is not a group being put together to advance the ambition of some individuals, because that has always been the problem. I hope that, you know, we will all concentrate, or rather NCF will concentrate, as my own group would like to do, on building structures around Nigeria to ensure that we are effective, but we must offer hope to the people. And that hope must be anchored on values, values that are ennobling and values that will rescue this country from where it is today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tola Mobolure. Chairman have to do closing remarks.
Before we go that, Ngwale, we were supposed to have a question and answer based on the agenda. If there's any pressman who want to ask a question, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, then we can do that, then the closing remark, and then the vote of thanks. Is there any pressman who wants to ask a question? We have a pressman here trying to ask a question, please. Please, go ahead.
We're ready to answer.
Okay, yes, Prof. Go ahead, quickly.
The first question, Nigeria's security challenges is blamed on poverty and social inequality. What's your view, sir?
Nigeria
security has been blamed on poverty and social inequality. What's your view, sir?
Okay. Well, it is clear to most of us that one of the grave errors in trying to tackle insecurity is the constant recurrence to military power. As you see, it has been failing so far. Just last week, the governors were asking for higher firepower in the Northeast. Well, this has been going on for a good decade. A lot of the power of insurgents is that warfare is significantly asymmetric. And when the population around the theater of war is impoverished and alienated, it is not easy to overcome such insurgencies. And what people have learned is to turn to the idea and concept of soft power. The Americans learned with all their might in Vietnam that unless you turn to ways of getting people to live and work together, your power might go not very far. And so we believe that a good part of the problems in our country is because there is so much poverty. When you have nothing to lose, and by the way, I can show how 20 years ago I suggested on many occasions that what we have today will happen. When a lot of young people, instead of going to school, are out begging, as 9-year-olds, as 10-year-olds, it may be okay. But very soon they're going to be 40-year-olds and they can't be begging on the streets. And their stomach will still be needing food. At that kind of time, they are available to kill the guy around the corner to get food to eat. And this is why what we need is a complete change of tactic that would focus our country on production, economic production. The trouble with where we are is that we focused on sharing. Share the gala, share the booze. And because all this sharing is coming from a limited natural resource, finite, all of you probably head Total. now discounting its crude oil reserves in Canada completely 18 years from now. 18.5 years from now, they assume oil will have become hydrocarbons for a fuel would have become irrelevant. So for Total, in 18.5 years from now, its crude oil reserve is being written off to zero. And so we have a country that is looking at depending on that same thing going forward, rather than developing the capacity to produce. And the first thing in producing is education. When we fail to invest in the education of our youth to make demographic dividend out of what is this youth bulge, we are going to have the kind of violence that we are having. And so we need a change of strategy to create more economic opportunity for our youth. The nature of how we run our country makes our country a frightening destination for investors, whether they are Nigerian or foreign. Many Nigerians who have lost so much money because of the way that the rule of law, property rights are being violated, don't want to invest anymore. So where will the jobs for the youth come from? So politicians, regulators have to become much more disciplined, more sober, and more patriotic to realize that what they do has consequence for the well-being of citizens. It is this improved management of the environment that will lead to transformation of the economy of our country and the provision of outlets for fulfillment for those young people, so that instead of going into violent activity, cannot further picked up by any ambitious person, they are busy building their own futures in their own businesses, in their own workplaces. So this is really what many of us believe is at the heart of managing the violence around the place. But first of all, we must begin to negotiate with them. Not negotiate in terms of paying them off like some of the things we did earlier, but negotiate with those who are their sponsors, bringing them to justice. Many times I hear governors, like in the North, say, we know the people behind this. You know them? By golly, let's go and grab them, arrest them, and try them. So you can't say you know them, and we're doing nothing. On the one hand, we need to be addressing the conditions that they are taking advantage of and bringing them to book. These are the critical things that we need to be doing if we are to make progress.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tonko. There's a few questions here that I will quickly run through.
Okay.
Question number one goes to the executive. Are you sure that you're not just aggrieved Nigerians who are looking to governance? And what's your policy about women in government? Do you believe that Nigeria should move in the direction of merit rather than political affiliation?
Okay, thank you very much. That is Right Honorable Morganina Abba will respond immediately. Alistair, can you repeat that your question?
Okay, question number one is, are you sure that you're not a collection of aggrieved Nigerians who are seeking for governance? What's your policy on women's inclusion in government? And do you believe Nigeria should be in the direction of merit rather than political affiliation in appointment in the country?
Thank you very much for this question. Let me confess to you that everybody you see this forum is an agreed Nigerian. And that is why we are here. We are aggrieved because we are being misgoverned. And we are not hypocrites. Some of us are politicians. We are politicians because we want to serve our country. We served it before, in official capacities, and we contributed in no small measure more than most people who are today in governance. And because we have a warped system, that is why as many of us as possible are not in governance today. And if we were, or if we are, I'm sure we'll do better than the people that are currently running our affairs. So we are aggrieved. And that is why we are here. And we want to participate fully towards changing what is going on in our country. Secondly, about women. This corona pandemic has proved that women are very able leaders. An analysis done a few weeks ago showed that countries being led by women performed better in containing COVID than countries that are developed and have men as leaders. Therefore, we must continue to trust the instinct of women. We must put them in sensitive political offices. And in any case, women are more conservative than us. They are more restrained. And because of their nature, we must place them in positions where they can provide us with wisdom. And some of us may notice that even in our homes, women provide more care. Anything they see us doing, which has the potential of jeopardizing our children, the women will come and tell us that, please don't do this or don't do that. So we must, more than any other time in this country, place women in a vantage position. We must provide them with platforms to lead. And we must also continue to train them so that whenever they are in leadership positions, they are still reinforced with the knowledge provided to them during these trainings. Then the question of appointments. Merit, of course, should be the watchword whenever we're making appointments. Today, it is the kinds of appointments that are being made that are partly responsible for the mess we are in today. Before we started this program, I was discussing with a friend of mine from Kano. What we were discussing was simply that when we had democracy in 1979 to 83, our governor, Adaji Muhammad Abubakar Rimi, made merit his watchword. He recruited his commissioners, some from the universities, some from the business sector, people who excel in business, people who excelled in everything, people that can challenge him, that can match him in knowledge, people that are were even more knowledgeable than he was, so that they could challenge him. Today, appointments are based on how much someone is loose, because those appointed are expected to be used, not to really participate and contribute in governance. And I recommend that anytime any of us is in a position of power, we must consider merit. There are many politicians who possess such merits, but they are not considered for appointment because knowledge or intellect today has become a liability. It is no longer an asset. And this is very dangerous for our country. Let me also comment on the statement made by Mr. Is it Bodori? the banker, he hopes that this forum is not designed to achieve the political ambition of some people. Yes, definitely this forum is created to provide a platform for Nigerians of our caliber, whether we are politicians or whether we are not politicians, to discuss and present ways and means in which get out of this quagmire we are witnessing in this country. But also, let me mention that with office, getting an office, any one of us here if we decide to support some of us to get political offices, we can engender so much difference in the way we are being run. So we are not going to shy away from the facts of getting political leadership. And I don't think this group is just designed to be exchanging messages or contributions on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is just a means, it's not an end. The end is for us to be able to be in positions where we can change things in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Comrade Alistair.
Yeah, Dr. Tanko.
Yes, in the absence of anything, can we give, is there anything else we have?
Let Professor Otomi also respond, please.
Let's make it short, please.
Is there any question?
First of all, I want to say that I share 100% and the views expressed by the Right Honorable Galinaba. He was on the money on all of that. But I think it is important to make points regarding women that besides the fact that women have proved themselves very well, the example of this pandemic, that any society that shuts out 50% of its population will not be able to compete with others that include all of them. So that is a starting point. It is a disgrace that in Africa, Nigeria is the ultimate laggard in terms of where women are. You go to Rwanda and you get most of the parliamentarians, significant part of the cabinet as women, and Nigeria performs as poorly as it performs. It is a disgrace to all of us. And that is probably part of the explanation of why we are lagging behind. On the fact that could this be a group of aggrieved people? By golly, what is the basis of politics? It is being aggrieved by something not being right and doing something about it. If there should be anything wrong, it should be that you are aggrieved and you are doing nothing. So the essence of that question should not be on whether people are aggrieved or not. If that questioner himself is not aggrieved about Nigeria, something is wrong with him. Every Nigerian should be aggrieved. And that being aggrieved should drive them to doing something about it. And I'm proud that I am part of a group of people trying to do something about it. I think it's also pertinent at this point not to be shy of, it's the usual blackmail that the fellows in power bring, to any expression of opposition or difference We say, oh, those people are aggrieved. Who the hell are they? Not why are they there? They should be out on the streets. Instead of accusing people of being aggrieved. So I think that question lacks foundation of merit in terms of a pejorative view of people who seek to change their country. It should be an honorific view that people see wrong in their country and want to do something about it. So I want to beg journalists to stop asking such questions because it's silly. They use journalists to ask such questions so that they can make you feel awkward. There is no apology for wanting to retrieve your country from the dustbin. Thank you.
Any other question?
At the moment now, we don't have any other question. Probably we'll go now to the vote of thanks so that we can close up because of time.
But I'm raising my hand.
Okay, just 1 minute. Mr. Jide, please, can you make it short? I can see you.
My question is that...
can you tell us who you are and where you are from, please?
Okay, Mr. Jide.
No, my name is Jide Oyekunle.
Okay.
I work with Daily Independent newspaper. Yeah, I want to... My question is, what is your movement doing in order to reach some other groups who have similar agenda, that have similar motive and similar ideology with your movements? What is your movement doing in reaching out to these people that cut across students, market women, labor, and some other organization without considering their without looking at it from their political ideology, but that they share similar views with your own? So what are you doing in reaching out to them and bring them on board on this project?
Thank you very much, Kule. Probably that honorable will start, then the part will end up with the matter.
Well, I have mentioned in my statement where I stated strategic objectives, one of which is to work with other groups. But what I said was that we are going to provide a platform for Nigerians to contest for election. It's a competitive process. And I said in the alternative, we are going to work with other groups. That is, if we're not in time gotten our political party, we are going to work with other groups or political parties in the realization of our objectives. But with these other groups, there are many groups who share us, but sociologically, because some of them we don't know them, they don't know us, but in time we get to know one another. We have to know our groups. Some of them we have been talking to. Some of them are even members of this National Consultative Front. They have collapsed and they are with us because we have millions of members. So our objective is not to work alone. Our objective is to work with other Nigerians who share the same ideas with us to salvage our country. We are not going to insist that we must do everything by ourselves. I don't think we can do it. This is the truth of the matter. But we are ready to work with other Nigerians. Some of us have started talking to them. Some of them are already in this forum, they have collapsed. And some of them we are going to talk to in future, as long as we identify or they identify us. We either approach them or they approach us. Our minds are open. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Prof, please.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Tanko. I think that is a marvelous question, really, really beautiful question, because the reason we are a movement is to be able to amass momentum, gathering all people of like minds. In the strategy team, we have been brainstorming on some of the ways to go forward with that. In my presentation, I suggested that there are two important dates to watch. The 15th of September, which is International Democracy Day, and October 1. It is the expectation of some of us working on strategy that on those 2 days we will unfold massive strategic trusts. Again, one of the things that I remarked on is the fact that we are trying to see if we can deliberately build a, if you will, coalition in terms of interest groupings between the original NEPU background of artisans, the middle class, the rural farming class, a new mass entrepreneurship youth base of people's capitalism to create, if you will, a solidarity movement in which our shared economic interests for growth as a society can be held by these various interest groups or stakeholders. And so coalition building, finding what will bring the women and the students together, and the new kind of farmer we want to create in rural areas, together with the new medium and small scale entrepreneurs that we would like to build a huge movement supported within the movement, not needing money bags to finance it, where everybody's happy to give their 500 naira every month to ensure that their children's future will be one assured with certain kinds of policies. So a defining statement on our core purpose, our values, which brings to the political arena people of service, not people who want to get anything for themselves. In fact, part of what some of us will propose is that anybody who becomes part of this movement and holds office and has more money when he's leaving office than he had when he was entering should be tried. Because seriously, we need to build a culture, a value of public life as sacrificial giving of self for the advance of the common good. By the time we lay down all of this, people from these various strata of society, particularly the students, we are focused very heavily on getting the youth to mobilize and transform this society, educate them, socialize them. I was on a webinar on Saturday to mark the 70th anniversary of NEPU.
We're running out of time.
And that was the point that I tried to make in my contribution to that seminar. You look at somebody like Alaji Tanko Yakesai, artisan, tailor, didn't go to any school. He speaks more intelligent politics than many people who have several degrees, because he was educated within NEPU. He was conscientized appropriately. Our movement must be able to take young people and conscientize them and create a social transformation mindset in all the people that come through. This will lead them to bring in others with them so that the momentum of people committed to Nigeria, a passionate movement of patriots, can evolve and save our country the shame that is currently a lot in the international community. This really is what we are hoping to do in having proper reasons why these social groups, these stakeholders relate together, not just come and let us be part of a group. No, 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 no. The artisan will see how his product gets into the business of the SME person who is supplying a factory which those middle class people work. It will be a coalition of interests that make them cohere to advance the common good of all. This is what we are trying to identify, isolate, and get people to embrace. This is how we hope that our country can be transformed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof. Comrades, ladies and gentlemen, in the absence of anything, can we call on Chief Peter Ame to give us a vote of thanks? Chief Peter Ame, please, to give us a vote of thanks. Hi, Chief Peter Ame. Hi, Chief Peter Ame.
Okay, well, if he's not in, then we'll have to quickly just thank and appreciate the movement itself and the spirit behind it.
Hello.
Hello, are you with me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. In closing, I'd like to appreciate members of the fourth estate of the realm who have gathered to honor us and who have taken time to publish our various interventions. They have done very well in this short while that we have hit the street to publicize our ideology, our values, our principle. This is a movement that is, in essence, a government in waiting. We have said to ourselves that we'll be different, and our statements have shown that, have revealed that. The statement read today. So we are ready to make the sacrifice, as stated in our statement, is a onerous task of changing Nigeria. We have started a mass mobilization and consultation to bring about a new Nigeria. And that involves a lot of program, a lot of sacrifice, and we are ready to do this. We have done it in the past. It's just that some of the gains of the past have been reversed. People like Muhammadu Buhari have benefited from our movement. But you find hijackers in power who hijack the gains of movement like this and reverse it. But this time around, we have said to ourselves in consultation that that will not happen again. We have learned from past initiative so much how past initiative failed. And this is not built around any personality, but ideology and values. Values to bring about a new Nigeria that will work for all. And we are going on to take government headlong, to engage them programmatically and constructively so that they will know that there is alternative that is worth looking at. So we want to thank you all for your time. We want to appreciate you. This is not going to be a futile effort. This is going to take us and take our country out of the woods, out of the rut. And we are going to be
Sorry, Wale. Thank you, but we're not a government in waiting. We are a movement of citizens that are ready to make sure that government works for the people of Nigeria.
Okay. But then.
Thanks for that clarification.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that's cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. May God Almighty Allah continue to bless every one of us. Thank you and goodbye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you. Good one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody, thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your part.
Okay.
Well done, Pat. All of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for giving us hope.
We thank God.
Thank you. Good one. Congratulations.
That was awesome.
Thank you. Wonderful presentation. God bless you. And God bless you.
United we stand.
Good afternoon. Please sit down. Please sit down.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
So we're just finishing the webinar.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah? Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Sorry, I was away from time to time, so I wasn't